What's going on, everyone? About 59% of stocks of the S&P 500 closed down in the red today, but I don't think too many people care about that for today. All eyes are on GameStop as this stock is surging to the upside as it popped by 47% today, and Roaring Kitty is getting $380 million closer to becoming a billionaire. So we have a whole lot to talk about today, and as we all know, there is 1 day left for the week, so let's make it a good one tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike, today was insane, and to see GameStop do what it's doing right now is nuts, right? But looking at the SPY really quick for a quick refresh today, it was pretty choppy. It didn't really break the high of pre-market or after hours too much. It's pretty much sitting right around that 535.40 area. So for tomorrow, everyone's going to be watching NVDA and the big tech stocks to see if they can end up coming back. But, Mike, tomorrow's the last day of the week. I think a lot of people are going to be watching GameStop, of course, with all that crazy movement that happened today. And a lot of people are probably like, hey, why is this going up? Now, for everybody that doesn't know, Roaring Kitty is actually going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, and that's going to be pretty important. Obviously, he's been like I don't know, Mike, the mastermind behind this move on GameStop, so to say, I guess. So much so that he's actually getting investigated now by a couple different entities. So that's going to be interesting to see how these investigations go. But nonetheless, his position is nuts right now, Mike. And everybody keeps looking at the profits. And I can't believe what I'm even reading right now. Currently, he is $382 million in the green between the shares and the options that he holds on GameStop. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying that, Mike, and I don't know, it might get to $1 billion soon.
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer, and if you look all the way to the right and you look at that value column, you can see he's worth a little bit, I guess you could say about $586 million right now, and he started with around 50 grand, so that's pretty crazy. And I was reading on CNBC that if GameStop were to get to about $65 a share, that would be the $1 billion threshold for Roaring Kitty. But the main thing to know in terms of an actionable trading sense is that there's a whole lot of attention, momentum, and just power with GameStop stock right now. In situations like this one, there is opportunity playing both directions, and obviously most of the sentiment is towards the bullish side right now. The only thing to keep in mind is that, obviously the more pressure and the more momentum and the more hype this stock builds, the more volatile and crazy it becomes, which is a good thing. But just keep in mind, because in situations like this in the past, people have gotten a little bit too crazy and have, or I guess you could say, ignored some of the risks that come along with moves like these ones. So the main thing to keep in mind is that there's a lot of momentum right now with GameStop. There's a lot of good price action, but just make sure no matter what, even in the event the stock does fall, that you're going to be okay, because the last thing we want to see is everyone to pile into GameStop after it's already up 47%, only to have no plan in the event the stock fell. But for as long as this price action keeps up, it's going to be a pretty interesting next couple trading days.
It definitely will, Mike, and I think everyone's going to have their eyes on this one, of course. And, looking at some of the levels coming up in the short term, sitting here, there was a high on Monday morning in pre-market that it ran to around 47.35. Looks like we're actually sitting pretty close to that as the market closed today. So I will keep that on watch for tomorrow. If we could break out above there and then really break this key $50 mark past here, then I will continue to look at this one up, Mike. And, obviously, for me, it's more of a scalping opportunity setup, right? I'm not going to be buying and bag holding GameStop options over a few days or anything like that. Although I will say Roaring Kitty's been doing a great job of it. But, that just doesn't fit me right now and my trading style. But nonetheless, it's going to be really fun to scalp and stuff over the next few days. And I'll even keep looking at AMC and other stocks like that. Even AMC saw some good action today. It was up 12%. But of course, Roaring Kitty with this position, it really just gets so much attention into GameStop specifically, right? How often, Mike, do you see people turn 50,000 into 500 million? I would say he might be one of the only people to ever do that, truly.
Yeah, I think so. But looking at GameStop right now, as you mentioned, the levels overhead, that'll be important. But there's also just a lot of resistance up all the way to the $64 level. If the stock does get to that level, then Roaring Kitty will be a billionaire, but the stock will also have even more momentum. After that level, there's a lot of resistance right around 72 and then also 80. So keep those levels in mind for tomorrow. But another stock that is definitely seeing quite a bit of action right now is NVIDIA. So as we talked about yesterday, this one recently, at least temporarily, became worth more than Apple, but it pulled back a little bit today and it didn't have the best news.
Yeah, it definitely didn't, Mike. And you can see on the chart here, it recently made new highs, but today that pullback was pretty huge. And whenever you go to like a 5-minute intraday chart, you can really see how, I guess, parabolic that downtrend became there. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to be bad forever here with NVIDIA, but whenever you get antitrust probes going against a company, it's never a good thing. And, the FTC is actually doing an antitrust probe against NVIDIA, Microsoft, and OpenAI. They're going to be looking into the company's conduct rather than the company's mergers and acquisitions, according to the source. So that was interesting, an interesting part of that news there. But anytime the FTC is like looking into a company or companies for any reason, it's definitely not a good thing. And Microsoft and NVIDIA both started falling from this pretty heavily there right around the market opening. And Microsoft was pretty red all day until the end, where it did recover. But you can see where that news really took hold there early on. So definitely not good for these two companies, Mike. Although I will say, with NVIDIA's strength, it might just shrug this off. It's just probes right now, so it's not like they've actually found anything conclusive yet.
So looking at NVIDIA for tomorrow, if it starts to develop stronger bearish price action, there should be some good scalp opportunities offered. At the same time, if NVIDIA just ignores this move and it keeps marching higher, then there won't be a need to even force like a trade in this scenario. But either way, whether you like NVIDIA or you don't like it, keep a close eye on it for tomorrow because as we all know, at this point, NVIDIA kind of controls the market quite a bit. We could see recently that as its market cap has just soared, so has its influence on the market as a whole. So whether you like it or you don't, you kind of have to watch NVIDIA. But good stuff overall. And then, Tom, for tomorrow, we do have some economic data set to report an hour before open.
Yeah, we definitely do. So at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, like Mike said, 1 hour before the market opens, we will have the non-farm payrolls for May coming out and the unemployment rate. So that'll be pretty big there. Cook will be speaking later in the day. But besides that, there's not too much more on the economic schedule for the rest of the week, of course. And we will talk a lot more about next week's on Sunday night's video because we will be getting that inflation rate coming soon, Mike. That's going to be a big event for next week. But definitely watch those non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. And of course, looking at the earnings, it's going to be Friday, so there's not really too much on the radar there.
There we go. So it's time for the good stuff, which are some setups and predictions for tomorrow. And I have some good news today, guys. I will not be talking about Chewy as one of my plays. I know I've been talking about this one for I don't even know how many videos now, and it has been doing phenomenal over like the past couple of days, but I'm switching it up a little bit. So today I will definitely be looking at PayPal. This stock has been consolidating for some time now, and it is recently getting some very strong bullish price action, as well as some really good volume at the same time, which is always good to see. But basically, this stock has been oversold for a while now, and it's starting to see the light, which is good. So I will definitely look at PayPal in a bullish way, not only for tomorrow, but even like over the next couple days. It definitely had a pretty solid move lately.
Yeah, it really did. And another one that I kind of like today, and every time I watch PayPal, I always switch over to Square too. And I'm like, wow, yeah, like those two stocks are doing so good here in the short term. I'll definitely keep PayPal on the radar for tomorrow. With my first play, I'm looking at Penn Gaming, Mike. They're coming back alive a little bit. You know, they've had that news lately. Obviously, like people are trying to push for them to get bought out or, you know, explore different possibilities with deals. And it's good to see them up like 5.69% today. If they're able to break like 1735 around that high of day and go on another run tomorrow, I will look at this one back up. Ever since we got that news, there's been some pretty good price action with Penn. So I'll keep watching it back up, Mike. And, you know, we did have a big money play on Penn recently, and it hasn't really done the best so far. So I'm hoping that, you know, tomorrow we can get that nice breakout coming in.
All right, there we go. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is NEM. This is a mining company, and it had a pretty solid day. It has been doing very well over like the past couple months, but it's definitely slowed down a little bit over the past couple weeks. Either way, gold and silver prices had a nice move higher today, which definitely helped the sentiment with mining companies. But looking at NEM right now, the price action has been overall good, and it's coming off of a recent dip and coming off of a pretty strong up day. So I will definitely be looking at it in a bullish way. Again, not only for tomorrow, but even over like the next couple trading days. And honestly, it's not even bad for like a play for like the next couple weeks and months. So either way, NEM is on my radar.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit, Mike. The gold and silver market and just the miners in general, not even just for gold and silver. I know a lot of these companies and miners deal with multiple different types of metals, but it was just really good to see the overall like metals sector do a lot better today. Like looking at silver on the chart, SLV came back pretty good. You go to gold, it's starting to come up off the dip. So I'll definitely keep the miners in mind over the next couple of days and weeks. But my next play is actually with Rivian. They had some news today where they're going to be using NVDA chips in their vehicles, and they even like redesigned their pickup truck. So I feel like that Rivian's been actually moving up pretty well here over the past like month or so, and they're getting towards resistance. So if they keep going with this nice momentum and we keep seeing these nice moves like we did today, then there are going to be those nice short-term opportunities here with Rivian. And I know a lot of people like them for the longer term too. I might not be the largest fan of that, but for the short term, I will keep looking for a breakout like above 1180 tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Well, it's now about that time for today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Zoom or ZM to the upside.
Yeah, this was a fire one, Mike. 1.64%. It did pull back a little at the end of day, but if it can break above 63.80 tomorrow, keep watching it up.
All right, with the next one, we have VRT to the downside.
Yeah, this was a pretty wild move down, 9.35% today. If they break under 87 tomorrow, then go ahead and look at downside opportunities.
All right, and then with the last one, we have MU for both directions.
Micron, what a wild stock here this week. It ran up a lot. Now it's dipping today. I mean, very volatile, right? Just like NVIDIA. But if it ends up breaking 135, then watch it up. But if it ends up breaking support, and it actually triple bottomed at this intraday support today, right around 129.20, then look at it down.
All right, so we have the downside level for a potential move lower, and we have the upside level for a potential move higher. That is for MU. Don't forget about the downside level with VRT, and then the upside level with ZM. Either way, these three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow, if and only if they break through the levels Tom listed. The stronger the stocks move and the more consistent the price action is, the better the setups become. If they do not break the levels listed, then don't feel the need to trade them. We're looking for strong, powerful, consistent price action. But besides that, it's now about that time for today's $600,000 big money trade, and we are looking at ticker symbol HR. So this stock has been moving to the upside in a pretty good way over the past couple of months, but over the past couple of years, it has definitely been like struggling, or at least just consolidating. Basically, the big money put around $600,000 into the $17.50 strike call options that expire on August 16th of 2024. Looking at HR, again, it has been moving in a strong way in the short term, and it is getting to recent highs around like the $16.50 to $17 area. Overall, the short-term price action has been good, and for as long as this sort of price action keeps up, there will definitely be a lot of opportunity with a setup like this one. But at the same time, these options are a little bit far out of the money, and they have some time to them, which is good. But the strike price on this one definitely makes this big money play riskier than most others. When you have an option that is out of the money like this, it increases the probability of that option expiring out of the money. So that is not something you want to see, but either way, keep a close eye on this one going forward.
Yeah, and what I really like about the 1750 strike is that it is like right around a big resistance there on the chart. So that is a good sign. Like if we do get up and like test that in the short term, that 1750 strike will probably pop up pretty well, but we are going to need to move pretty quickly. You know, there's only a couple months left on this one. The good news is that it looks like, Mike, like when this stock starts to run, at least in the short term, it usually goes on some pretty good moves. So if there is going to be a true breakout of this resistance around 1650, we might see it happen pretty quick. So I do like that about this stock, but of course, you know, be careful with it, right? Obviously, don't over leverage. Don't go crazy with these big money plays. You know, I know a lot of people, Mike, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this big money play went up 100%. I'm going all in now, right? Watch that be the one that doesn't. So just, you know, take it slow, guys. But I really like this big money play. And I do like the way that this stock moves. Like when it runs, it seems like it goes on some pretty good tears.
Yeah. One of the recent big money plays that I found very interesting is the one with IONS. It was from earlier this week, and I know it's a call debit spread, so, you know, it gets a little bit more advanced, but, you know, it was almost a $2 million trade, and just given the nature of the spread, you know, the big money seems to be expecting a pretty big move out of this one. But as always, we'll see what happens, and all big money trades require time. Like, they're not trades for tomorrow or next week or anything like that. A lot of these options expire in a couple weeks at the very minimum, and in most cases a couple months. So definitely keep that in mind. But heading into tomorrow, Tom, we have the market definitely very close to all-time high still. NVDA is consolidating just a bit, and of course we have all this GameStop craziness going on. So I think it's going to be an exciting one.
It really is. And don't forget, Roaring Kitty will be streaming tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting stream at some point. I don't know what's going to happen, Mike. I'm kind of worried the SEC is going to bust down his door while he's streaming, honestly, with all these investigations that have been going on or talked about the past couple days and stuff. It's I don't know. You know, it's a crazy situation with GameStop out there. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this situation. Do you hope that it gets to like $64 so that this guy becomes a billionaire? I don't know. You know, a lot of people lose money trading these stocks, so keep that in mind. But hopefully, you know, we see the fireworks pop off, Mike, because I think that would make for one hell of a headline if we saw that Roaring Kitty turned 50K into $1 billion.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane, but I guess we'll see what happens. But before we close out, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Super Soaker Chan in the Stocked Up Discord, who had a great trade with NVIDIA today, where he made around like 79% with some NVIDIA put options. So great job there, and it turns out it was his first NVIDIA play ever. So good stuff, and keep up all the great work. One other thing is for those of you who don't know, we recently released our Deep Value Club with Stocked Up. Basically, it is our most affordable product out there, and basically what it does is it breaks down all the complicated, boring, fundamental analysis that exists in the stock market in a nice and simple, easy way to understand. A lot of people just look at stock charts and think, you know, okay, stock's going up, that just must mean it's a good company. And then when the stock starts to fall, you know, the reverse is true, when in reality, the price you see on the chart has really no influence on the actual value of the company. Sometimes you could have good companies have falling stock prices, and sometimes you could have horrible companies that don't even make money have stock prices that rise by 200%. And in the short term, anything could happen, but over the long term, a stock's fundamentals are what truly drives that company over time. And the sad part is that most people are like, there's no way for them to like truly learn about fundamentals and understand them and see what stocks should truly be valued at. So that's what the Deep Value Club focuses on. Again, it's very important to understand fundamental analysis for the reasons listed, and that's part of the reason why we made it so affordable to everyone. So if you want in, it'll be that first link in the description, in the comments down below. It will never be cheaper than the price you see today. So keep that in mind, and besides that, let's end this week on a green note. Thanks for watching.